travel isn't just about destinations, it's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabocha, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
All right, so I'm joined in studio by two guests. I've got Mika Abrams, who's a motorsport racer, in studio with me. Hi, Mika. How are you doing?
Good, thanks to you. Thank you for having me.
Very good. And I've also got Tshabalala, also in the world of motorsport. Right?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Let me start with you, Mika. This wasn't where you'd wanted to be. How does one find themselves? And also, by the way, let me just say this. They're very young. It is important to talk about how young they are. So one imagines that they started in this world at a very young age. I mean, Mika, how old are you? When did you start?
I recently just turned 17 and I started when I was 9.
You see what I mean? They're very young. At 9, how do you know that this is what you want to do? And specifically, what discipline of motor racing? Because it's actually quite wide, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was always like a sporty person. I was into football, athletics, whatnot, anything my school offered. I hated motorsport growing up. Genuinely, I hated cars.
So he says growing up. This is now 17-year-old.
When I was like a little baby, I hated cars. And then I went to a friend's house and I played the F1 video game on his Xbox, and I fell in love with the sport ever since. And I knew from then, well, not really from then, but I really wanted to try a kart. And then my dad organized a kart day at Vereeniging, and I went there and I drove the kart and I fell in love with the sport. And then I kind of had that feeling that I really wanted to do this and I wanted to pursue this and do this for the rest of my life because the feeling of speed was so amazing.
Oh, it's the love for speed. What was your trigger? What made you go? And what is your specialty? So yours is kart. You said you started with kart.
Go-karting, yeah.
Go-karting. What is your specific aspect of motor racing, and how did you get involved?
So I am a superbike racer.
Oh, even cooler.
So my background is a bit different from Mika's one, but I think our mentality is a bit of the same thing. So yeah, I started a bit later. I started riding small bikes when I was still little, around 12. But then I was exposed to the world of motorsport at a rather late age because I didn't have the platform to start or how to start. So I started around 2017. And then it was onwards and upwards ever since. So it's just, yeah.
It's also the speed. I mean, now when you are a superbiker, that speaks to the stunts, right?
No, it's like actual racing, like how Mika is racing.
Oh, you're racing the bike.
Yeah, but I'm a racer with the bikes. But before racing with the bikes, I was mainly a stunter. I was stunting on my small bikes, and then I was stunting in the streets during that time. So I took a few videos, and someone on social media just reached out to me, and he was like, "If you're still gonna do this on the road, you're gonna get yourself hurt."
Imagine.
Is this what you want to continue on doing? And unfortunately, during that period, I lost a close person that I looked up to on the road. And that's when I decided not to start to continue riding on the road. So, I think that's where that's what pushed me towards going into the professional side of motorsport. And I fell in love with the speed, and I just loved the world of motorsport from there.
Mika, when you then decided to get into go-karting, for instance, you go to your parents and then to try and figure out where to go. How did you know where to go? How did you find places where you can get involved in the sport, you can try and practice?
Well, growing up, obviously, my dad really loved F1. He was a big fanatic, and I guess it was just blessed that we had people in our lives who did go-karting, and he organized, and they helped us, get along, meet people, and it's all thanks to them that we got to know. But before that, I had no knowledge. We had no knowledge whatsoever about go-karting, that you could do it as a professional sport or whatnot. So it took a lot of learning, but we had the right people around us.
But where do you go? Because what I also understand when I look at the picture is that these are not common sports. It's not like you'll find a racetrack everywhere you go. They feel like they're few and far in between. I speak now of Kayalam, which is for the big cars. I know there used to be one in the Vaal for go-karting specifically. I don't know if it still exists. Where would you go, and how difficult was it then to stay in the sports?
I mean, there's not many places you can start. I mean, motorsport is such a underlooked sport in South Africa, so finding the right facilities, finding the right things, it's quite hard. But you know, there's places like in Swartkorps, in Vereeniging, like in places you've never been to in your life, and and then I mean, those are the places where you start. And I mean, I never used to go to like Benoni, Vereeniging, Swartkorps, but now they're all like my second home.
They're also remote. Yeah. And then for you, where did you then figure out where to start? When somebody said, actually, let's get you off the roads, let's find safer spaces, there's something else that you can do. Where did you start, and how did you find it? Was it difficult finding places to practice?
So what happened is, after he reached out to me, he introduced me to Neil Heron, who's running the South African Motorcycle Academy. So I met with Neil at one of the local tracks, which was Red Star. No, it was actually in Brakpan, the Rock Raceway. And then we later moved to Red Star. That's where I got my first racing experience. And I pushed, and Neil noticed from the get-go that I had something special in me to push. And me having to see that, for me to be exposed in that environment, I had to go through what I went through and get to Neil's Academy to see the actual sport. It also inspired me to register my own academy, because I feel that township kids don't have that platform, or that one person that will DM them and let them know that there's a person like Neil who has an academy for you to go and practice, or for you to at least learn what motorsport is. So,
So the point of mentorship is quite important. I will get into that, because I do think it's an important one. On your end, did you find somebody who was able to hold your hand to say, these are the avenues, this is what you need to do?
I've never really had like a singular coach that has like taken me up the ranks. I used to be with my dad. He would go on track in the sun. He would put cones out because he would just base it off what he sees like online with racing lines and whatnot, and we would just work on that like day in and day out. And it was like, we put in the work, we put in the time, and I would just say, you know, I've worked with a lot of people over my career. I've worked with a lot of coaches and a lot of teams, but no one's helped me the way my dad has, and I'm really grateful and blessed to have a father like him in my life.
And cost, Mika, because from my understanding, and I think one of the reasons why it doesn't seem to be so popular, people talk about how expensive it is. I mean, even now, when we speak about the possibility of F1, yesterday listeners were saying trying to bring the F1 to South Africa is a difficult one, because people will not be able to afford tickets. I can't imagine then participating and sticking with the sport.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the worst part of our sport. It's so expensive, and I mean, already being in South Africa, it's already an expensive sport here, and then, you know, going to Europe, that's just, like, it's unfathomable, and it really makes this sport bitter. But I mean, with the right, you know, with the right people behind you, you can make anything possible. But that's what I want to do in my career, is make motorsport a very known sport in South Africa, so people can support like drivers like myself, riders like Sia, and you know, it can help us take so we can race in Europe more frequently.
Sia, the cost of being a biker, a super biker, what is it like? If you had to talk me through even monthly expenses that keep you in races, keep you going, what does it look like? How much would one need to think about when it comes to the money that is required to keep you training and also participating in races?
So I'd say, like Mika is saying, the costs never end. So it's just a matter of you dreaming and pushing forward, because now you being exposed or just being there, it allows you to meet so many great people that are able to enable you to do what you love without even having anything. So for me, it even came to a point whereby I recently joined a team, the Inter-Africa Racing team, of which they've also enabled me to unlock my full potential, whereby before I was racing on a stock bike, and if I could start from the very beginning, I didn't have a bike to begin with. So I went into an apprenticeship with Yamaha for 5 years, and they were able to sponsor a bike. But now you have a bike, but you still have to convert it into a proper race bike. So it's a cost on its own. And that's where you start to expose yourself. I push on a stock bike in the first season, and people saw that I could still keep the pace. And you find 2-3 people coming by. What else do you need? And they pitch in. After pitching in, you find yourself on a proper race bike, only because you still keep on believing on your dreams, and you're exposing yourself and meeting new people who can help you.
You mentioned something called a stock bike. I don't even know what that is. So let's speak about that and the different kinds of bikes as you grow, when you go up, further up in the ranks, I imagine. How do the ranks even work?
So there's your unlimited open super bikes, which is your beginner, and there's your unlimited super bikes, which was your intermediate, and then there's your national SBK, which is your top one in SA. So I'm currently leading the championship in the intermediate one, which is the Superbikes Unlimited class. And when I say a stock bike, I mean like, you know, your normal car, your production car, your i20, let's say,
like
for example.
Car, yeah.
So
Yes.
I got my bike like your i20. You can't just take your normal car and go and race it as it is, because you won't have the speed to be competitive. So you still have to to convert it into a proper race bike. Put your normal race your normal race fairings and few other components, which probably cost an arm and a leg to put on your bike or your car.
That's the thing. Mika, with cars, with go-karts, I've been to that Vereniging one that you mentioned. It's in Swart. Forgot what it is, but I've been to that particular area and I've seen the go-karts. But how do they differ? Because in a lot of people's heads, a go-kart is putting together pieces of wood, and you know what I mean, the old school picture of what a go-kart looks like. But what is it actually like?
I mean, I race karts now like 5 years ago now, so I need to try and dig deep to remember. But for me, it's like a small little death machine. It's like you're so close to the ground. There's no safety around you, no safety belts. The engine's right next to you. The fuel's in between your legs, and you're going like 120 kilometers an hour, like bumping people. It's like as fast bumper cars, but you have to be very, very skilled. But it's like, I race in British Formula 3 now, and I would still say I feel like karts are more scary because you're so close to the ground. It just feels so much faster, and like one small mistake, you know, you can. I mean, I've had times where I've been flung out of my kart, so there's not much safety going on in there. Like in F3, we have safety belts, halo, everything protecting you, so you feel safe and snug as a bug. But in karting, it's just like daredevils.
Would you suggest that somebody must start maybe at go-karting? Is it a forced pass to get to F3 where you are, that you've got to go via go-karting? And maybe speak about how one evolves from that one ranking towards where you are now.
Well, the preferred route is to start in go-karting, but I mean, you know, it doesn't really, you can start in like single seaters as well, like Formula 1600, but the preferred route, like all F1 drivers, they started in karts. I think that's like the building blocks. It's the foundation of a racer. You learn everything there, and then you take it on into main circuit racing, because the competition is so tough and fierce, and you know, you have to build your aggression in karting, because it's just so like you're just fighting with everyone. There's so many cars on track, and it's just really intense. And then you go to main circuit racing, it's more like respectful. It's more professional.
I want to invite the listeners in. If you've ever thought about go-karting, you've got questions for our guests. They're young, but you can hear they are quite knowledgeable on the topics that we're speaking about. Sia is a super biker, and then Mika Abrams is a motorsport racer. He is F3. You said it's called F3, right?
Yes, British Formula 3.
British Formula 3. That's what it is. You've got a host who knows very little about motor racing. Yeah. So this is where we learn. You and I learning together. If you've got questions, you want to participate, now's your opportunity. 011-883-0702, 072-702-1702. If you've got questions for my two guests. Is there a thing about personalities that is required that will have to go with sports like this? Do you have to be a certain kind of person? You know, you spoke about Daredevil, you spoke about one being a death car. Let me start with you, Sia. Is there a kind of personality that it takes to stick with something like this? It's also because of the lack of popularity and the lack of knowledge. I imagine it's lonely as well.
Yes, it is. It's a very lonely sport, but you get to meet great people, like I was saying, people like Mika. And what I've noticed is that between the two sports, he's on 4 wheels, I'm on 2 wheels. But what's common is that it's a mental game. You have to be very strong. You don't have to be a special kind of person. You just have to be mentally strong and to be determined to push for what you actually want. And once you already started, it only gets better from there. And you always want to get better and better, and you push for that first place. And once you get there, it's very satisfying because now all that hard work and that loneliness pays off. So,
Mika, how competitive is it? And I imagine there's different levels in terms of on the 2 wheels versus the 4. How competitive is your space? Locally, I think internationally we've seen it. Europeans, we see the European space quite often. It gets enough prominence. But locally, how competitive is it?
I mean, I would say, I haven't raced locally in a long, long time, but when I did, it is competitive, but it doesn't compare whatsoever to European racing. I mean, in Europe, like everyone is like so fierce. They're like, you have no friends there. You're just there for yourself, and you're there to like win. And you know, you mustn't be afraid to make enemies. Here, you know, you can still be friends off track and whatnot. So, I guess the competition is less fierce here. But I mean, the home of motor racing is in Europe, so those boys are just a different level.
Do you remember your first competition in Europe, your first international? What nerves you went through, and even your first win?
My first race in Europe was in 2019. I did a karting race. It was a one-off race, and to be honest, I'm not really proud to admit it, but I was very like cocky going in because I had a great year. A great year going in. A great year going. I thought I was, going to be at the top, and but it was a very humbling weekend, and I'm really grateful for it because the competition there is like so fierce and so tight that like one small mistake and you can go from being in the top 10 to being like P70, P80, and it's like 100 kids there competing, like, all with the same dream, trying to make it to Formula One. And it was a very humbling and I had an amazing time, and I'm really grateful for the experience. And it was very nerve-wracking because being on a grid with 30 karts and like the world's best, and it's very like the butterflies you go through, the butterflies you have when before getting into that kart. And I mean, for me, I always like making a little prayer, and I did a few extra prayers when I was there. And I must say the nerves haven't changed. I mean, that was 2019, and then coming into my first win in Denmark in 2022, I was leading the race, and I was still equally as nervous. I was like, there's these people watching you. You have like a fierce competition behind you, and it's just nerve-wracking. But at the end of the day, like Sia says, it's all the loneliness and the hard work, it pays off. So that always overcomes everything. And it's a great feeling just knowing that you are able to compete at that level and achieve results, and knowing that you've worked hard for it.
So you came in with, I think it looks like a trophy.
Yes, it is.
Let's tell me about this trophy. It actually looks really good. We are on YouTube so people can see it. Okay. Tell me a little bit more about this. And then I also want to know about your first big global scale competition.
So I'm still yet to get to the global stage.
Okay.
But the whole reason why I bought this trophy is because of it was my actual first win out of all the years of racing. And I only got it this year in the opening round of the season.
That's
so
beautiful,
since 2017,
you must be patient with yourself as well, yeah.
Since 2017, I haven't seen a win up until this one. So that's why I keep it very close to my heart.
Where did you win it? Tell me more about where you won it. Tell me about how you also felt. Mika speaks about how you went into one race, his first race, cocky. Tell me about how you were feeling in the lead up to this. Were you confident? Did you know you had it in the bag? Did you surprise yourself? How was that?
So in this race, I was more calm-headed because I've learned that racing is it's more efficient if you make it a slow build-up. If you don't just rush to one point, you just build it up, build up your confidence up until you are able to push, but not push enough to make mistakes, if you get what I'm saying. So with this one, it was in Pretoria. I had to push, but then I still had to keep the same pace. There was someone in front of me, but because I had to keep a calm head, I have to remind myself that no, this person is in a different class. They combined us. I have to remind myself this person is in a different class and I'm in my own class, but I'm leading my class. Do I really have to beat him to win, or should I just keep my position on the win? So it's been like that. I had to compose myself at that moment and push, but still keep a calm head for me to take the win. And then up until our recent race that happened in Cape Town, where it was raining, it was a different kind of a challenge now. So
Goodness, yeah.
yeah, so I had to, you only have 2 wheels for grip and it's raining. And I recently joined the team and all the hype is because of the team. So I still have to keep my calm head, not to think about what's happening, who's here, or who's the big boss in the team, but rather to do what I'm supposed to do at that moment. And I ended up finishing the fastest in the rain.
Oh, beautiful. In the rain.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Congratulations. How competitive is it for you in South Africa?
It's very competitive, but like Mika was saying, when you get to Europe, it's a different ball game because they put everything into their racing, whether it's your technical appliances or the aid to compete at the highest level. They do that. So when you're from South Africa, you work with what you have. So and it doesn't have the biggest funding for you to push the way the Europeans are actually pushing. So I think for us, it's just a matter of building with what we have, and that hunger. Once you get to Europe, you realize, okay, now it's a different game, but you still have that hunger in you to push forward, even though you don't have anything because you know where you come from.
So it's a difficult one. It's a different set of games. There are over 120 motorsport clubs in South Africa under Motorsport South Africa. Events are happening across all our provinces. It's as it's known. It's not at the level, of course, of rugby or football in that matter, but there are people who are slowly getting into it and participating. We're in conversation with two of the participants, two sporting participants. We've got Mika Abrahams, who's a motorsport racer, and Tshabalala, who races on the superbike. They'll be with us, of course, until the top of the hour. If you've got questions for them, please feel free to call in. If you've got, there are people who want to ask about women participation. I'll come back to that after the headlines. So I want to get to the headlines first, and then we'll come back to those. Are you interested in the sport? What do you want to know about motor racing? A lot of people shy away from it because of cost, and the guests have said that there is a massive cost element to it, that a lot of money goes into it. But what's lovely about the guests is that they do speak about what they want to do in the various communities. We're going to find out more on their vision, what they want to do for the country beyond themselves in their particular respective sports after the headlines. Sfiso Zulu's got your headlines.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Tshidi Madia, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For more about 702,
Go to primemediaplus.com.
Welcome back, 10:36. Tshidi Madia in for Clement Manyathela. We are joined by racers, right? Mika Abrams is a motorsport racer, and then Tshabalala is a superbike racer. Then studio with me, trying to teach us a little bit more about this particular sport. It is growing in our country. There are now at least 25,000 people actively involved in the various disciplines. So some are involved in karting, some go to rally, some are in the motocross space. People like Sia are involved in the superbike area, and then there's about 120 clubs across the country. I mean, Mika earlier said that it's found him in places he's never been to before, where this is where the sport is active. So they're joining us in the studio to help us understand a little bit about what it is that they do. You've got calls, you've got questions, 011-883-0702, 072-702-1702. Are you interested? Are you involved? Are you scared? These are sports that people are also very scared of because it feels dangerous. Mika, earlier you spoke about how in go-karting there's very little to protect you. So I also know that parents will be reluctant to allow their children. What would you say to parents? I mean, your parents allowed you to do it. What would you say to parents about their kids who might be interested in following your footsteps?
Well, I mean, it's a very scary sport. I don't think my mom still can't watch me, like barely watch me race now still. She doesn't watch any of my starts because it's the most dangerous part of the race. But I mean, it's a beautiful sport. It's great to, connect and bond with family. And, my parents and I, over the years, we've had such beautiful moments like winning. And, even in losing, we have beautiful moments too. And I think it's just for parents that want to get their kids into racing or have worries and concerns, it's safe. It's just that you're gonna have those odd moments, but it's very rare. But on top of that, it's a beautiful sport, and the feelings and the emotions and everything you go through is wonderful and once in a lifetime experience.
I've got a couple of messages here and questions for you guys. So I'll start with this one. A message, so I think both of you could answer this question. Are there female race car drivers in South Africa? In both your ends, how is women participation here in the superbike space? Are there women participating?
Yes, there is. There's quite a number of women participating, and what I've noticed is that racing has no gender. It's all about
Fantastic.
speed.
That's what we want to hear.
It's all about speed and the love we have for speed, and just improving and bettering ourselves as people. And I'm grateful that we have pioneers that have created a platform for us to actually showcase our talent, both male and female. Like in SA, we have the South African Endurance Series, of which it has allowed us to showcase ourselves both in the bikes and the cars. So you do find women racing cars and bikes.
In motorsports?
I'd like to say there are a few, but there's not as many as there should be. I mean, like Sis said, motorsport has no gender, and I feel there's lots of women out there in South Africa that probably just need the opportunity to get a platform like Sia and I say that we have, and hopefully that we're able to open doors like that, and hopefully in the future. But there are a few women racers in South Africa who race in single seaters and touring cars, and they do amazing. And it's great to see that they're paving the way for women to come into motorsport, and hopefully we will see more in the future.
I'm going to play you guys a couple of voice notes from some of the listeners, then you can comment on them. Abel?
Morning 702. Morning. Thanks for the beautiful topic. I actually have a son. He's 19 years old who has been interested in this race car things from his high school years. So I never knew where to go for information. I always thought that it's an expensive sport, as I'm a single mother. And because we are far, we are staying on the west end. So thank you for the guest. I'll keep on listening and get some information. Thank you guys. Great show. This is Sharon from Randfontein.
Thank you.
Hi there, 702. Just wanted to ask McKill regarding the British Formula 3. Out of interest, how much would a season cost in British Formula 3, or what are the steps to Formula 1? And I mean, going from British Formula 3 to get to F1, what would it cost per season, or what's the budget to become a racing driver from Formula 3 to get to Formula 1 is just a question. Wesley from Centurion.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the questions and the comments. Let me start with that, Mika. Because we do think about money. All of us, when you think motor racing, we think about money. So he's asking, of course, about how much you require, looking at a budget for Formula 3.
Well, I don't manage anything to do with the money.
You have talent.
Yeah, I have a management company, and they manage all the financing, and I'm the same with my father. So I can't give an answer for that, unfortunately, but I can say that the path to F1 is, you start in Formula 4, you go to Formula 3, Formula 2, and then, with the talent and the right people behind you can get to Formula 1. And I mean, it's not limited to many people. You can, I have sponsors, and you can get sponsors, and, you can start here in South Africa with Formula 1600 racing, and that's pretty close to Formula 4. And then eventually that will gain you enough experience which can take you to F4 in Europe, and then with all the meeting people there and learning new things, that will help you progress into Formula 3 and then Formula 2. But the money related side, I have no
you wouldn't know
knowledge on that.
No, thank you. See, earlier you spoke about why you also do what you do. You spoke about a loss that you had, but you spoke about the communities, and that's important. Let's speak about where you come from in terms of community and why it's important for you to try and create an environment for other seers to follow through.
So what I've noticed is one of the listeners said she's from the West Rand. So I'm also around the West Rand. I live in a township called Kagiso. And what I've noticed is that, like Mika is saying, if you look at the finances, it's gonna be discouraging at some point. And for a township kid to think about doing a motorsport journey, but they don't even have a single cent to add to it, is gonna be very discouraging. So the reason why I actually wanted to push my academy is because obviously you're giving them a platform. But again, you also need bikes for them. You need a suit, you need a helmet, you need, once they started, you have to get a racing license for them. So you pay for a racing license annually, and then your race entry fees vary from track to track. So if you're going to Kyalami, it could be this much, but if you're going to Pretoria, it's going to be much lesser. So it's a matter of just chasing your dream regardless. And for me, it's just a matter of me pushing myself and making a name for myself to a point whereby the academy, making a name for myself will allow the academy to create a good platform for the young ones to have at least a small access to what I'm doing and to what they want to achieve in the world of motorsport.
You also, part of your ambition is for country. It's not just about you. We look at the more popular sports and we see what it's like when they achieve big goals as well, and how we embrace it as a nation. You've also got South Africa in mind when you race in the European circuit.
Well, yeah, no, 100%. I'm very patriotic about my country. I love my country, and I want to be able to give back to this beautiful nation one day. And, like Sia says, there's many kids in our country who have this passion, have this dream, but they don't have the facilities, or they don't have the funding to get there. And that's one thing I want to be able to do. I don't feel I'm just doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the future of South African motorsport, and I want to be able to pave that way. So kids in the future, and even kids now, I mean, like Sia does his academy, I've gotten into coaching, and I like to, next week I'm starting to coach a team from Namibia, and it's a winning is a nice feeling, but for me, being able to give back, knowing what I've achieved, is able to help others. It really is a special feeling, and it's a beautiful feeling, and I just want to be able to continue to do that for the rest of my career. And if there's any goal I'd like to accomplish, it's mainly giving back, and I plan to work hard on making sure that dream comes true.
Coaching already when you're so young. It's 10:45. I'm going to take a quick break and we'll come back. We are hanging out with Mika Abrams, who's a motorsport racer, as well as Tshabalala, who's a superbike racer. If you want to know more about what they do, what it entails, if they have rituals, like sports people always have these really bizarre rituals. We'll find.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Tshidi Madia, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place, whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
It's 10:47. It's across the desk on the Clement Manyathela Show. Tshidi Madia standing in for Clement. I'm hanging out with Mika Abrams and Tshabalala. Sia is a super biker and Mika is a motorsport racer. F3 motorsport racer, correct?
Yes, correct.
I got it right. I'm learning as you are learning. If you've got calls, if you've got questions, please feel free to call in on 011-883-0702, WhatsApps and voice notes to 072-702-1702. We often see sporting heroes speak about like the routine around it as well. So there's a particular approach you must have to every race. There must be a rhythm of sorts. How do you prepare for every race? And coming out of it, how do you recover?
So, was it for Mika?
It is for you. That's why I'm looking at you.
Okay,
it's for you.
So with me, it was because I was in the township during the time and I didn't have the money to go to a gym. I would usually do road work. But because it's such a taboo what we're doing, when you run in the township, they would ask you, what are you running away from?
Yeah.
So I've always channeled myself that I know what I want and I want to push for what I want. So I'd run, but now recently what I do, I still run, but now I go to the gym more often. I go to the gym at least 4 to 3 times a week. And then post race, after racing, because it takes so much toll on you, I get to rest. So it depends on where I am. If I'm at a place like Cape Town, it's going to be a first experience for me in Cape Town. So I'm still going to go around looking in Cape Town and to see
have fun, see the place, yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate resting after a race.
Mika, your ritual, your process before, leading up to the race and post race.
Well, leading up to the race, I like to just be one with myself. I don't like, the distractions or being around anything. I just want to stay at home and just clear my head or just be by myself. Or recently I've taken up golf, which clears my head too, and it's a nice way to get out. And
you like expensive sports, eh?
Yeah.
Feel sorry for your parents.
And then on race weekend, I'm very meticulous about what I do. I like to I listen to my music 24/7 on race weekends, and then I do my warm up before my racing, skipping, foam rolling, stretches, everything. I walk down with my engineers and mechanics to the pre-race. I don't like walking by myself. And then before, I like to give my mom a hug, and my dad always kisses my hand. It's been our thing since I started racing.
So that's your ritual. This must happen.
Yeah, it must happen. And then when I get in the car, before I close my visor, I make a little prayer, and I just say what I'm thankful for, and then I pray to keep myself and my competitors safe, and then close my visor, and then I just recite a little prayer on the warm-up lap, and then that's my pre-race ritual. And then after the race weekend, like Sia says, just rest. I will not leave my bed. And if I do, my body will be very, very sore.
Sia, do you have a ritual? Do you do a thing that has to be done? The step must be done. The T-shirt must be worn before you race.
Our ritual is pretty much the same. I also listen to one specific song, and maybe 10 seconds or minutes before the race, I also pray next to my bike. People will just leave me there next to the bike, and they will see that I'm busy cooking. So
what song do you listen to?
When You Believe by Maria Carey and Whitney Houston.
Of course. course, anything can be achieved. I've got some calls for you on the line. Paul and Vereniging, hi, good morning to you.
Hi, Tshidi, how are you?
Good, very good, very good. Talk to the what do you call racers? Racers, is that it? Yeah, talk to the racers.
Yeah, the racers. Hi, guys. I just want to ask. My son is 7 years old and he's interested in cars. So I want to put him on the sport. Where can I start?
All right, Mika, maybe you can start with that one.
Well, if you say you're from Vereniging, then, you know, there's a car track really nearby. And I mean, I'm not sure if it's still running or active, but you can go there, speak to people, or there's, you know, get in touch with Motorsport South Africa through the website, and they can put you in touch with car teams. And I mean, your son's the perfect age to start racing now, 7 years old. I was 10 when I started, and there's lots of categories that can help him learn. There's lots of places that can teach him, and you know, you can do track days. You know, even start with rental karting. But have a look at Motorsport South Africa, or go to your local car track, which I think is Vereniging Raceway. But I hope your son. I hope you guys can get into racing.
Okay. Do you have any sports clubs nearby in the Val, or anyone that you know?
Paul, sorry to come in there. I think he's best advised there about going to Motorsport SA. I think they'll be able to guide you. There are at least, no, thank you so much though. I heard you. Paul is out in Vereniging. There are 120 at least clubs. And I think if you do go to Motorsport South Africa, the answers that you're seeking are possibly going to be right there for you. Guys, take a listen to this voice note.
Thanks for a wonderful show today. And what I'd like to know from the two gentlemen, and for the sake of all South Africans, this sport, yes, is growing, but we are hearing it's only in Gauteng. I'm not sure what will it take from a child from Mnambiti or in Limpopo, Masemola or whatever. Where can they get all this information? The nearest tracks, the nearest people who are doing that. I think collaboration is one of the things that we should be doing as South Africans, so that we can grow as this type of sports, so that it's inclusive to everyone, everywhere, at the corner of our country. Thank you. Alex.
Thank you so much. There's a lot of curiosity about where to go. Let me start with you, Sia. Do you have an understanding of what the sport is like outside of Gauteng? I mean, you said you're racing in Cape Town, but do we know about other provinces?
So there is pretty much a racetrack in every province. And, well, like I was saying before, it's a matter of us exposing ourselves. So if you know you are in Limpopo, you have to Google, there's a track in Limpopo. If you know you are in Cape Town, there's a track in Cape Town. And just going to visit the track and exposing yourself to the people there and asking questions will allow you to get the right answers, because we have Motorsport South Africa online, but people don't know more about it. But even though there is a platform online, I'd say it's still a matter of us exposing ourselves to learn about the sport. So if you Google Motorsport South Africa, or just Google a racetrack near you, I think you will be in the right direction, because there is pretty much a racetrack in every province in SA.
Just for people asking, because there are a lot of questions about it, and I just quickly Googled it. If you go to motorsport.co.za, because that's what the two gentlemen keep referring us to, there's quite a lot. There is updates, there is about the sport itself, insurance, officials, there's all manner of information, the calendar, where to go. I think the information that some of the parents are looking for can be there. See cars, motorcycles, karting, sim racing. So there's all manner of racing that is represented there as well. As far as motor racing is concerned, Mika, how does it look like outside of Gauteng? Do you have any idea in the country if there are? And if you're in the European circuit, sure, but how many people from South Africa are with you in that space fighting to also grow in the industry?
Well, I mean, I don't want to speak for others on how they fight their own battles, but I'd like to say, motorsport in South Africa is what, I mean, it is, there is not many in some provinces, there's more in others, but I'd like to say it's well-rounded, but I feel that we just need to grow the name of motorsports in South Africa and just to get it more recognized, and in doing so that will bring lots more opportunities, many more doors open for many people in provinces that have less racing. And I guess that's what Sia and I want to do. We want to be able to grow the sport in a way that it can benefit everyone in this country, not just Gauteng, Cape Town and Durban, but Limpopo and all provinces. And we want to and I think in good time it will happen, and it can definitely grow. And I mean, it's growing really fast, but let's hope it can grow even faster.
I think there's one more message that we cannot end this conversation without playing. Are we able to play it?
Hi, Radio 702. This message is for Siyabonga Tshabalala. I am your big sister, Thuli Tshabalala. I just wanted to say, keep pushing. We are super proud of you as the West Rand and as your family. Stay humble. Remember where you come from. We love you.
And that's that. I hope you received that.
Yeah, I did.
I'm even impressed. I'm really proud. Yes, it's okay. Even I'm feeling quite teary. Thank you to your big sister for that message. And I think it is inspiring. Good luck to both of you. Thank you so much for stepping in and sharing your story with us. Hopefully you also turn more South Africans into future Mikas and Sias. Thank you so much. Thank you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Tshidi Madia, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.